Straight ahead on CCX News, MNsure momentum, the story behind a record number of sign-ups for Minnesota's health exchange. Plus, homes for sale or the lack thereof. We get perspective from local realtors. And a Maple Grove man honored for his life-saving actions. CCX News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. The future of MNsure remains in a cloud of uncertainty.
But today we learned Minnesota's health insurance exchange had a record number of sign-ups. Delane Cleveland has more.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming.
In a packed room in downtown St. Paul, MNsure CEO Allison O'Toole shared the latest figures on MNsure's open enrollment.
Minnesota set a new enrollment record with a total of 117,654 enrollments in the individual market.
That figure is a 34% increase, breaking the state record set during last year's open enrollment period.
An amazing 96% of Minnesotans are now covered and protected from crushing medical bills and health ailments.
O'Toole was surrounded by a group of people tasked with helping Minnesotans get signed up for MNsure.
We are, I think, leading the way in terms of colleges who are providing a MNsure navigator on the college campus.
That group included Jessica Lauritsen and Brenna Huke of Hennepin Technical College.
I saw at least, I think, 3 to 5 people in the last week. Now, it's not a ton, but some appointments can take an hour to an hour plus.
Huke helped students at the Eden Prairie and Brooklyn Park campuses navigate MNsure during the open enrollment period, and they came to her with plenty of questions and concerns.
There were definitely some students when we put out information that were like, well, I'm not going to bother because it's not going to be here. Well, we don't know that. We really don't know exactly what's going to happen with it.
That was a thought looming over the heads of every one of the MNsure navigators and staff members who gathered to learn about the new enrollment totals.
Like all of you, we're watching what's happening in Washington and at the state capitol. And believe me, it's just as unclear to us as it is to you.
But with a record number of people enrolled, many here think that sends a clear message to lawmakers who want to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
I'm hopeful that we'll still have this option for Minnesotans and for all of the people in the United States that need health coverage.
In St. Paul, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Open enrollment generally lasts 3 months, but that was extended this year by a week to give people extra time to tap into special state government rebates. Another 1,500 people signed up through MNsure during the extra week.
A Maple Grove lawmaker says a bill to make Minnesota compliant with the federal Real ID Act gives up too much control of personal data. The bill passed the Senate Judiciary Committee on Wednesday night, but Senator Warren Limmer voted against it. The bill upgrades driver's licenses to meet federal rules for boarding domestic aircraft. And Limmer says the federal government should have had someone testify about privacy.
I say they refuse to come and answer any questions forcing the states to comply with not a person, not a spokesman, but just a federal registry that gets printed. And as a result, we have to try and figure out and balance between convenience versus giving up a lot of our own control and protection of data privacy of our citizens.
That bill now goes to the Senate floor.
A semi-truck driver avoided injury after his rig rolled over early Thursday morning, causing closures on both I-94 and Highway 610. The driver was headed on westbound I-94 when the rollover happened near Brockton Lane, blocking all lanes of westbound traffic. The wreck forced MnDOT to close both westbound I-94 and westbound 610 at Maple Grove Parkway for several hours on Thursday morning. No word on what caused the accident.
Now is the great time to be in the market to sell your home. Supply is low while demand is high.
According to the Minneapolis Area Association of Realtors, there was a 2-month supply of homes in January in the 7-county metro. That's compared to a 3-month supply in 2015. A balanced market is usually a 6-month supply. As reporter Sonia Goen shows us, the low inventory is seen across the northwest suburbs.
We are in short supply of the cheaper houses.
Look around Maple Grove and you won't really see many homes on the market for under $300,000.
When I list a house, I get many showings, anything under $300,000. If it's priced correctly, it flies off the market.
Becky O'Brien is a realtor with RE/MAX. She found 42 homes and townhomes available in Maple Grove, but 1/3 of that number is pending inspection.
So I would say, 30 are available in all of Maple Grove from $150,000 to $300,000. That's not a lot.
In Brooklyn Park, there are 57 homes on the market in the $100,000 to $300,000 price range. But again, 1/3 are pending, so the number of available homes is around 40. O'Brien says that's low for a community with a lot of houses. The good news is more houses are expected to go on the market as we get closer to spring, but the affordable ones are in high demand.
The smaller homes, there's more people that want them, that can afford them. That's why there's less supply, and they're just not building homes from $150,000 to $250,000 anymore.
O'Brien says buyers have to be aggressive if they want to lock in a deal.
Quick and ready to act and willing to go, if they have to, go a little bit over.
In Maple Grove, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
O'Brien says buyers can get a good deal if they're looking to go to the next bracket. For example, an older home in the $500,000 price range is a little bit more negotiable because people can get new construction for that very same price.
Improvements are on the way to the Robbinsdale Community Gym and Fitness Center at Robbinsdale Middle School. The city was awarded a $75,000 grant through the Hennepin Youth Sports Program. Money will be put toward $240,000 worth of upgrades to the weight room and exercise equipment there. The facility is expected to close at the end of June and then reopen by mid to late August.
A Minnesota state trooper from Golden Valley and a Maple Grove man were among dozens honored for their life-saving actions. Scott Grebe, shown here in the vest, is alive thanks to his friend Brian Nelson of Maple Grove and state trooper Dan Ryan. Last May, Grebe went into cardiac arrest while riding with his friend Brian Nelson. Nelson called 911 and pulled over on the shoulder of I-394, got Grebe out of the car and started CPR. State Trooper Dan Ryan arrived shortly after and used his automatic defibrillator until an ambulance arrived.
Called it in, said, I think my friend's having a heart attack, and that's what got us dispatched. And he continued to work on him until we arrived and helped out, assisted with the paramedics, and so everybody was just a team that day.
I mean, I feel like everything that happened that night fell into perfect place where he ended up. You know, the CPR, they had a CPR machine on him quick at the scene. So I really feel like, fortunately, I made the right decision, but I feel just lucky that everything turned out the way it did. Because if he wasn't here, then, you know, none of this is celebrating.
Meantime, students in Golden Valley took part of the day to lift the spirits of a St. Cloud veteran. James Witamaki is dying of cancer and made one simple request to take his mind off his illness. James wants to receive letters from people. He took out a newspaper ad and word spread through social media. And now kids at the School of Engineering Arts are making cards for James. Those cards will hopefully not only make someone's day, but also teach an important classroom lesson.
One of our goals here is empathy, and we really struggle on ways to help develop empathy. So we talked about that there was a man, we talked about what a veteran is, talked to that he was a soldier, and that he's not a soldier anymore, but that he's very sick, and just that he's lonely and he wishes for mail that would make him very happy.
Well, the kids are just getting started, but they seem to really get into this project. Well, coming up, we meet a standout student who first graders in Golden Valley really look up to.
And then later in sports, pro angler Terry Tuma has his weekly ice fishing tip.
But first, what a difference a day makes. Friday temperatures are expected to reach the upper 40s. We caught up with today's standout student, not at his high school, but in a first grade classroom.
A 17-year-old David Necas volunteers teaching science, and as Shannon Slatton explains, that makes him today's standout student.
Clippers, what else can they use? If you can remember back to when you were a kid, the coolest people around were always the older kids.
I remember when I was in first grade, I would have just loved to come in or have high schoolers come in and teach a lesson to us.
So when David Necas and his classmates from Cooper High School spend time volunteering with first graders at the School of Engineering and Arts, it's a big day.
We come in every 2 weeks and we volunteer with the first grade students here at C School, and we teach them about science specifically.
Today, they are talking about animal motion.
What do they use? What do we use when we swim?
Science is David's favorite subject, but he stands out in many memorable ways at Cooper High School. It's become somewhat of a trademark of his school career.
David always went above and beyond what was asked of him as a student. He always seemed to be almost like a step ahead of what I was thinking.
Carrie Casey taught David in 5th grade. Now she enjoys watching him volunteer teaching first graders.
That's one of my favorite things about the SEEDS program is to get to see the kids come back.
David is well-spoken, knowledgeable, and enjoys giving back to his district.
He was destined for something great, and so it's fun to see now that he's in high school and getting to kind of explore his passions to see him be successful.
In Golden Valley, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
David is in DECA, and this year he made it to the state quarterfinals in debate. He's just a junior, but he is thinking about studying science or finance in college. Still ahead, celebrating something shaped in a circle, cut in triangles or squares, and usually consumed pretty quickly.
Yeah, but first, spots in the state meet are up for grabs for local Nordic skiers. John Jacobson has the highlights next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Spots in the state meet were on the line for local Nordic skiers at section meets. Anders Sonnesson of Wayzata starts first in this Section 6 Classic race in the pursuit format based on his win in the freestyle race. And Sonnesson cruises to a win in a combined total time of 24 minutes, 58.2 seconds on a good day for Wayzata. His teammate Luke Golan is second, 22 seconds back of Sonnesson. Third goes to Wayzata freshman James Schneider. Wayzata takes 4 of the top 5 spots to win easily. Armstrong's Nick Burns is fourth, helping the Falcons earn a berth to state as well. On the girls' side, Mara McCollar of Wayzata starts first. Dottie Anderson of Armstrong right on her heels. And Renee Anderson of Hopkins emerges as the champion with a total time of 28 minutes, 41.7 seconds. McCollar of Wayzata is headed to state as an individual as the section runner-up. In third and fourth are Dottie and Lucy Anderson of Armstrong as the Falcons win the team title. Here's what the two individual champions had to say.
A lot of us finished close together in the skate, so we were excited to go at it together in the classic. I had good wax, and I felt really good, so it was a good race, yeah.
Oh yeah, today went really well for our whole team. We had the first race and we all skied really well, took the top 4 spots, and that just gave us a lot of confidence for the second race.
The Wayzata boys raced to the win by a comfortable margin. Armstrong edges Orono by 1 point to grab the second spot in the state meet. Mountain West Tonka and Hopkins round out the top 5. It's a close race for the girls' team title, and Armstrong edges Hopkins by 3 points. Both teams are headed to state. Wayzata is third, Orono fourth, and Bedale St. Margaret's fifth. Several of our local schools compete in Section 5 for Nordic skiing. Cold, icy day at Worth Park in Golden Valley for the championship races. Maple Grove and Park Center among the 13 teams competing. This is the start of the boys' pursuit race with skiers going out based on their morning race time. Xavier Mansfield, who won the Northwest Suburban Conference meet last week, takes first in a combined race time of 23 minutes, 44 seconds. Ian Ivans of Champlin Park finishes second with a time of 22.75. The next trio of skiers, Champlin Park's Drew Carlson on the left, Luke Crandall of the Rebels on the right, both finishing in the top 7, along with Spring Lake Park's Joe Lynch. More on the Rebels' big day in a moment. The girls' race, Maren Strootman of Osseo, Elizabeth Matson of Park Center go out just 2 seconds apart, 5th and 6th as they start the pursuit. The girls' winners, Sarah Olson of Blaine, winning in a time of 28 minutes, 27.11 seconds. Watch the top of your screen there. Maple Grove's Jenna Hawk taking a spill coming around the final turn. She's all right, though, and she finishes 4th, leading the Crimson to the section title. Strubman of Osseo places 5th, just ahead of Christina Bolster of Maple Grove and Matson of Park Center in 7th. Diana Glabova and Sydney Crandall of Champlin Park finished 9th and 10th. Here's what the top 2 local finishers had to say about their races.
Oh, it's beautiful. Whenever it's like a little bit colder, it's hard packed snow. That's when I really like. Is perfect conditions. A few icy spots, but nothing we can't handle. So
my legs are just kind of tired, and I just kind of tried to stay up but couldn't, and that's when she caught me at the end. But overall, like, really proud of like how my race went, how my teammates' races went too.
Here's a look at the team scores, starting with the boys. Champlin Park and Mora as the top 2 teams qualify for state. Spring Lake Park, Coon Rapids, and Maple Grove round out the top 5. In the girls' meet, again, Maple Grove wins the section. They advance to state along with Andover. Champlin Park is 3rd with Mora 4th and Elk River 5th. The state meet next Thursday, February 16th at Giants Ridge in Bowabe. Time again for our weekly ice fishing tip on CCX with Tackle Terry Tuma. Here's Terry.
Had some questions recently about where should I set the depth for northern pike using tip-up. Generally speaking, in 15 feet of water or less, about 4 to 5, 6 feet below the ice. If you don't have any takers at that depth, then drop down about 10 to 12 feet below the ice and still no success, then drop it down to about 3 feet above the bottom. And then too, if it's deeper water, say 15 feet or more, then concentrate on about 3 to 4 feet off the bottom. Use your electronics to mark these fish, a big factor. And then too, another big plus that so many times we don't use, say you just landed a northern pike, but you forgot sort of what depth you were at, or you're going to waste too much time. Use a small bobber as a line marker, working extremely well so you know exactly what depth you caught that fish at. Also, I should mention that so many times when we're fishing northern pike, we have a tendency only to use tip-ups or a bobber, a larger bobber and a hook system, but don't be afraid to use jigs, and also vertical jigging spoons can be extremely successful, yes, even for big pike. Give it a try.
Thanks, Terry. Mike and Alex coming up tonight, Thursday, live high school wrestling as rivals Maple Grove and Osseo meet at 7 o'clock here on CCX.
All right, thanks, John. Up next, something you may not know about America's favorite food.
The life of pie when we come back. You can file this story under the Did You Know category.
It is National Pizza Day, and the timing couldn't be better for a new Osseo shop to open its doors. The St. Paul original Red Savoy Pizza opened Wednesday in Osseo. The business is known for its thin crust pizza and red sauce with a spicy kick. Opening day was a hit in Osseo. About 150 pizzas were made for their lunch buffet and dinner rush, and the shop owner expects to have a good run in the city.
So I know the town was very excited about getting a pizza place here. And why Red Savoy? The product itself I think is fabulous. And you get the right people in here delivering great customer service, I think will be very successful.
The new shop is along Central Avenue. Have a great day.
Happy Pizza Day.